uncovering steel from the Titanic or the Apollo 11 spacecraft, collecting moon dust or lava from volcanoes, RJ Romain Jerome creates watches that are icons in their own right. To tell us about his latest project is CEO and President Manuel Emch. Welcome.
Hello, I'm happy to be here again.
Fantastic. Manuel, this month we're celebrating 25 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall. Romain Jerome marked the occasion with the Berlin DNA. Can you explain the process behind the manufacturing of the timepiece?
Well, I think more than the process itself, it's, for me, the Berlin Wall, the fall of the wall, has been, I would say, my most life-changing TV moment. I was 17 at that time, and I watched the whole process on TV. It really changed my life. I mean, I was very connected to Germany. I've been there several times. I've been in the eastern part of Germany before the fall of the wall. And I remember I was crying on TV. So for me, that has been a very important moment. And getting close to the 25th anniversary, I always wanted to do a watch in connection with the Berlin Wall. With the fall of the wall was that symbol of freedom, and especially nowadays where people erect walls all over the world. The idea was to say, okay, we want to integrate obviously elements of the wall, which is stone, concrete of the wall. But we wanted to have it differently. I mean, we wanted to put it in a connection where we play with the freedom, where we play with the artistic approach. So what we did is we got in connection with the East Side Gallery, which is the biggest open-air gallery, I think, in the world, which is that big piece of the wall that was painted just after the fall by artists all over the world, which expressed the feeling connection with the wall. And so we associated with this museum, with the open-air museum, which has a lot of difficulties to maintain this part of history. And what we did is to say, okay, if we connect, what we want to do is each watch that we sell, we give a part of the revenues to maintain and to continue to keep this important element of human history alive. And the idea, in exchange, they gave us a bit of the wall, some concrete of the wall, some piece stones and some metal. What we did then is we basically crushed it into concrete and made a dial out of concrete. That, as you can see, shows the surface of Berlin seen from the sky, with the wall that is painted in red and the river, the Spree River, that's painted in blue, and you can see all the buildings. What's very interesting with this watch is that at night there's a special treatment below the dial, which makes that the wall sticks out, the river sticks out, and you can see the different buildings. And it's actually a very emotional watch, and as you saw before on the back, you have this famous picture of the two presidents kissing, which is one of, I would say, if not the most famous, probably one of the two most famous paintings in connection with the wall.
And there's only 25 being made?
Well, because it's 25th anniversary, and I found it more interesting to keep it very limited, very exclusive, very emotional. Since for me it's been a very emotional story, I think it's something we want to continue to maintain as well.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people will be driven by their emotions as
yes.
well.
Well, when we, interestingly enough, we showed the watch to 2-3 people, and it was very interesting, especially in Germany, to see the reaction. It's a very, very strong emotional moment. It's the most important moment of, contemporary German history, and probably the most important moment of contemporary European history, if not world history. And it was very interesting to see how much emotion this watch created. We had 2 or 3 people crying when they saw the watch, because it reminds them of something very strong. And at the same time, it reminded me of when I was 17, sitting in front of the TV and crying, because for me, I had this memory of being there myself, being in Berlin myself, having met people on the east side, see how they lived, and all this emotional part around it, and this immediate connection. Really, I think that's what we're trying to do with our watches.
So moving on from one emotion to another, and comic books. I don't know if you have some aspirations with Batman, but your new watch also is in collaboration with Warner Brothers, and it's the first superhero watch. So what do you think about Batman? Why have you chosen this? What's given you the idea?
Well, see, what we're trying to create is watches around legends and icons. And some of the superheroes are icons. They're artistic icons. They're part of, I would say, contemporary culture. And obviously there's 2 or 3 of them, there's not so many. We have on one side Superman, we have Batman, and that's, I would say, almost it as iconic artistic, or let's say artistic icons of our culture. And For me, the only interesting one within all this collection is obviously Batman, because Batman is a bit like we are ourselves, is a hero that's an anti-hero. It's not perfection. It's somebody that has its dark sides, like all of us. And in our advertising or communication, we always use people that are like we are, that are heroes, but at the same time, they're at the border of crying, sweating, or yelling, or whatever. They're human. And I quite like this element of Batman, or I would say the aspect of Batman that there's no natural superpowers. It's all man-made. It's somebody that is at the edge or the border of falling from one side into the other, from the dark to the good side, or from bad to the good side. And I think that fitted very well the brand. And we were actually contacted by Warner Brothers, which had the rights, and they were looking into creating some associations for the 75th anniversary of Batman. It's quite an old icon, as you can see. And they wanted just to do a few very limited objects in connection. And we're very proud that they contacted us, and I found it fits very well. And as you can see, we try to do a watch that is a little bit like Batman himself. There's a lot of edges. It's a very sharp and edgy watch with the bezel, and then you have this duality of a watch that has a different life at day and then it has at night. So, and that obviously shines a bit more at night than it shines during the day, and I think that fits pretty well the character.
Definitely. Well, that's what Batman is about.
Exactly.
Thank you for your time today, Manuel.
Well, thank you for having me again.
So that's it. If you want to have an icon on your wrist, then make sure you check the Romain Jerome website. That's all we have time for today at Dukescoffee TV, but keep watching for more news on the market. Goodbye.